Hi friends, welcome to Relay Tutorials. A very different kind of amazing start of the new year. Instead of being face to face, we are face to face, but via computer. Before commencing our lecture, our first session, I would like to clear certain things. You must have already debated upon the fact that whether a human teacher performs better or a computer can do better. And it was an unending debate where the one who favors computers can lead himself up to the unending arguments that computers can always excel human beings because they are machines and they have got number of powers. Human beings have some limitations. Teachers always preferred that classroom teaching, traditional way teaching is much better, and a computer can never excel a human teacher. And this corona period has given us the chance to assess the performance of both the teachers teaching via computers and teaching in the classroom in a traditional way, face to face with students. Anyways, here I'm trying to give you the best of the experience. You will miss certain body languages, but my face is there in front of you. And obviously we are dealing with English, especially when we deal with textbook. So you must have the textbook in front of you. So I have just tried to bring textbook in front of you via PDF. For the grammar lectures, I'm going to send you some videos that will be on the whiteboard because I have a lot of board work to do. So this is not done here. But right now we are going for the textbook. Without wasting much time, friends, we are starting our textbook. As you know, from this year now, you people have two types of textbook. One is called as main textbook, other one is called as supplementary reader. The name of your main textbook is Beehive, and your supplementary reader is called as Moments. So we'll start our first session with Beehive, and we'll go for the first chapter. Friends, even the first chapter is also very relevant, very contemporary. Since this time, it has now become very easy to explain this chapter. Earlier it was so difficult. The subject is such. The present chapter actually throws some light or maybe give you a comparative study between teaching by teachers, getting learned, going to school, against being taught by a robotic computer teacher without going to school, remaining at home. In fact, your home becomes what your school. It's a very interesting topic. It's very difficult to explain because students didn't have that imagination. They could never imagine the future schools where there will be no separate building with some computer aided technological gadgets, some interactive receptive systems. You can convert your bedroom, your home, any certain room in your house, in your school. There'll be no classmates, there'll be no school timings. You can start a computer at your own choice. A robotic computer teacher will be ready to teach you. It will be at your convenience. Just one glimpse of the thought about such kind of school gives you a little tinkling sensation. ગલગલિયા કરાવી દે આપણને. કેટલું બધું ઈઝી થઈ જાય. સવારમાં વહેલું નહીં ઉઠવાનું, યુનિફોર્મ નહીં પહેરવાનો, તૈયાર નહીં થવાનું, વેનમાં નહીં જવાનું, પરાણે ન ગમતા ટીચર્સના લેક્ચર્સ અટેન્ડ નહીં કરવાના. ઘણી બધી લિમિટેશન્સ છે આપણી સ્કૂલની. બધી લિમિટેશન્સ ખતમ. એવરીથિંગ ગેટ્સ ઓવર. You can wake up at your call. You can be in the bed. You can start your school the time you want. You can attend the lecture of your favorite subject. You can stop the teacher. You can start the teacher. You can scold on the teacher. Even if you are very angry, you also throw your teacher away. It can be repaired. You can just relieve your frustrations upon your teachers. How wonderful. Today's task is to imagine what could you do if you didn't have to go to school to learn. Your first chapter is a story of maybe your friends. There are two little boys of your age maybe. The boy's name is Tommy, the girl's name is Margie. And they are the future children. Children maybe after 20 years, 50 years, or maybe 80 years. At that time, there might not be schools with a separate building. As you are learning in this emergency time, using your mobile phones, your laptops, and as a teacher, I'm speaking to you. Later, even I will be replaced, and a computer software, a program will be speaking to you on different subjects and will be taught. It is a story of that time. So you must be thinking very surprisingly, how would that school be? How interesting it will be. We'll be enjoying it. And you might be comparing this school with that school in the future. The same comparison is given in the chapter. So I'm leaving it to you. At the end of the story, you have to share your views with me, whether you find today's school better or the future school you'd like to get. The title is The Fun They Had. Normally, I should explain the title, but I wish you should realize the meaning of the title at the end of the story. So without wasting much time, friends, let us start our story. As it is a Zoom video, its capacity is not so big. It will be a 40-minute lecture. So if the chapter does not get over, we'll continue with the other video. So let us start reading. I request you to follow me with the reading and note down all the difficult words, and later you to discuss the question answers and also write them down in your book and submit later. I can also provide you some reference material for the question answers and all the other grammar parts and writing parts. So let us start reading. I'm bringing you the PDF in front of you. The fun they had. Margie even wrote about it that night in a diary on the page headed 17th May 2157. You can just see the year. It is that future. And it is also an example of a diary writing. When you write a diary, you can give the title as reporter's diary. So if I'm writing a diary, I will write pronounced diary. But even writing a date can also be a title. It is something new to learn. Under that particular heading, she wrote, "Today, Tommy found a real book." Something was a very surprise for that particular day. As a matter of fact, students, you should understand, okay, books, real books, books made of pages will be out of date. You might find them in the museums. એ સમયના બાળકો મ્યુઝિયમમાં જાય અને એના પપ્પા એને બતાવે, જો બેટા આદિ માનવ આવી books use કરતો. Future of the children of that time, future time, will be having e-books the way you have right now in front of you. So that day, and whatever the old things are there, we keep actually in the attics. Attic, you know what is attic? માળિયું. જૂની જૂની બધી વસ્તુઓ આપણે માળિયામાં રાખીએ. Normally attic is a store room on the top of the building, used to keep the old things to be stored. But even within the room, if you have a certain place to keep the things, it would also be called as an attic. So from that attic, Tommy found a real book made of pages. Obviously, it's an old book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all the stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages, which were yellow and crinkly. As you know, when the book is very old, the pages are not so white. And they also are turned out to be a bit broken, a bit powdery. When you just crush them, they can easily be broken and powdered. There will be a lot of lines and folds that shows it is very old. So it was yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. Right now you can see, children, okay, you don't have to turn the pages. I'm scrolling the pages up and down. So the letters are moving. But in the real book, if you just turn the page, the letters don't move, they remain still over there. Surprisingly, a very live example in front of you. On a screen, you know. And then, when they turn back to the page before, it had the same words on it that had when they read it the first time. Right now on a screen here, what I read right now, if I scroll this page and come to the same screen, I will not find the same words. But if you have the book, if you turn the pages, again go back to the same page, you'll find the same kind of words. This is different. This is called as e-book, electronic book, or digital book. And earlier, or right now, what we have in the form of textbooks. When you come to school again, you'll be having real books. Real books means the books made of pages that we use right now. In e-books, the book that you just see on your screen right now. Tommy, being the future child, advanced in technology, didn't like it. So he said, what a waste. This "gee" is not something like a word. It is an interjection that shows disgust, contempt towards something. It doesn't like something. What a waste. When you are through with the book, you just throw it away. I guess. A television screen must have had 1 million books on it, and it is good for plenty more. As you know now, you have smart TV, and that can store number of books, hundreds of books, millions of books. In the future, it will be millions of books. So he feels that making books using pages is a sheer wastage. I wouldn't throw it away. And once you read the book, as you know, when the year gets over, you go give all the books to the asti wala. It is thrown away. But in computers, you don't have to do it. You can just keep right from the very first 100 books to up to the end you study. So he doesn't like this idea of the book. Margie added also, same with mine. Now who's Margie? She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. What we call digital books or e-books is now called as what? Telebooks here. So real book is made of pages, telebooks are the books available in computers. And Tommy was 13 years old, 2 years elder than Margie. She said, where did you find it? So Tommy replied, in my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy reading in the attic. So this line should be written like this, in my house, in the attic. And he didn't look at Margie while answering because he didn't feel Margie was important, the question was important. He found the book was more important and more amazing. So he neglected that question. Margie again asked, what's it about? He again replied, school. Margie was now very scornful. You know what is the meaning of scornful? Scornful means the kind of expression or the kind of tone of voice you show when you don't believe in something, when you find something is useless, worthless. So very scornfully she said, school? What is there to write about school? I hate school. So that question suggests that Margie didn't like school and she feels that school is such a boring place, nobody would like to write anything about school. So why should somebody write about school? Why school? Why should this book is about school? And she said it because she hated school. Now don't forget, she is in a school where there is no building, the school is within the home. It is a future school, computer school obviously. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully. And sent for the county inspector. See, now this is a new setup. There is a mechanical teacher, obviously a computer is working as a teacher, maybe a robot. And the way the principal is there, the way the teacher is there to scold you. In the same way, there is a county inspector, but not scold on you. If the child does not perform well, it might be considered the fault of the school management, the teacher, and just to treat the teacher, just to give the punishment to teacher, just to repair the teacher, county inspector comes. Very interesting. Now the description of county inspector. Mind well, it might be the answer of your question. He was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. Friends, school inspector comes with certain forms and certain checklists. But here, and the school inspector comes to assess the teacher, human teacher. But here, when the inspector comes, he comes to assess the computer. Computer, as you know, is a machine. So he has to bring some toolbox. He has to deal with some wires and dials. He came, he smiled at Margie, also gave an apple to Margie. That is a very good thing about that school, that it will be totally child-centered. So inspector is good enough to pamper the child. And he took the teacher apart, of the computer. Margie મનમાં વિચારે છે કે આ પાછો ન આવે તો સારું. ભાંગી તૂટીને ભૂકો થઈ જાય, આપણે સ્કૂલમાં રજા પડી જાય. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again. Means, if he has to repair the teacher just to see where the fault is to open the computer. So Margie wished if he opens the computer, he would not know how to reassemble it. But he knew how all right. And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown. Again the computer teacher comes, looking disgusting, black, ugly, with a big screen, large, and again with all the questions that Margie never liked to answer. The teacher was replaced, a new teacher came. It wasn't so bad. In that teacher, in that computer, the part Margie hated, okay, friends, we'll continue with the next lecture from here.